Hello everybody, E here. Welcome back to another book review, story review. It's a short story published by itself, only available digitally, and that's USHERS by Joe Hill. I literally, as soon as I finished this, I went over to get the book cover for the thumbnail, and I see that this is being made into a movie. I have an issue with that, and I'm going to explain why here in my review. Right off the rip, I wish Joe Hill nothing but the best. I loved about half of his work, and the other half I think is redundant. I think it is. He's become too much of a tribute to his father. If you don't know, Joe Hill started off as just Joe Hill. Not Stephen King's son, Joseph Hillstrom King, but Joe Hill. He used the name Joe Hill so that people wouldn't say, "Hey, I'm only famous because my dad is who my dad is." That's great. I loved everything from that era. Horns, 20th Century Ghosts, and Heart-Shaped Box. My favorite is after it all came out. It came out around the time Horns, or maybe it was Heart-Shaped Box. Anyways, he had made a name for himself before before getting big. And once he finally did get big, of course he got much, much bigger once it came out that he was Stephen King's son. But for him to go through all that trouble to differentiate himself and to separate himself from his father, only to now to become a cover artist of his father's work, it seems reductive. It does not seem like the way to go. I am super excited for King Sorrow because it seems like he is branching away from that kind of thing. His comic book work is absolutely amazing. I have the Lock and Key stuff over here, Basket Full of Heads. All the other stuff that he is doing is fantastic. His novels like The Fireman, his novella collection, and his latest short story collection have all been downers for me. I gave The Fireman 2 stars. I gave Full Throttle 3 stars because of the story Aloft. That's the... No, I'm sorry. Strange Weather, I gave a higher rating because of Aloft was in there. Fantastic collection. Actually, a good to middling collection. So I take back what I said. That is not a bad book. And then Full Throttle was just literally like an album of cover songs. And it seems like he is going that way again. In that one, he covered like Ray Bradbury, Stoker, a couple of his father quite often. All this cool stuff from 20th Century Ghosts, like pop art, all of that stuff was very... It was exceptional stuff. I mean, yeah, he covered the Metamorphosis and that kind of thing, but a lot of it that felt new. It felt fresh. Full Throttle didn't feel that way, and unfortunately, I said all that to say this: USHERS is nothing but Final Destination fan fiction. I don't care what you say. You read this story, it is Final Destination fan fiction. It is the exact same plot, the exact same premise, everything. The only difference is, in this one, you actually get to see death, or the ushers. I'm kind of upset about this, because they're making a big deal. They're making Screen Gems bought the rights. Gary Doberman, I believe is the guy's name, who's going to be producing it. It seems like this is going through, which is crazy, because it's just Final Destination. That's all this is. It's literally about someone stopping a death, and then death moving on to other people. It's the entire premise. Oh my god. But it's still a fun read. I just don't like the fact that they're making make this like Final Destination, USHERS. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm off my rocker here. Maybe that's exactly what they're going to be doing. But it doesn't seem like that is the case. It seems like a standalone movie, at least from what I've read so far. If there's new information, then I'd love to read it. If it's going to be like a Final Destination spinoff, if it was supposed to be a Final Destination spinoff, let me know down there in the doobly-doo. But Joe Hill is better than this, and it feels like I'm hoping that he has written all this stuff to pay the bills, stuff that he can play like a cover band until you can finally afford, until people start wondering about your originals, kind of thing. I don't know if that's what he's doing, but yeah, King Sorrow sounds wholly unique, like NOS 4A2, like Horns. And it feels like those books. It feels strange. It feels out of the nowhere. The Fireman was just the Stand with fire. It's like the Firestarter meets the Stand. But yeah, his last good book, in my great, amazing book, 5-star book, was NOS 4A2. With this one, I'm very, very conflicted because I enjoyed it. It's a decent 3-star short story. But it is also just a Final Destination clone. There is absolutely nothing different. Of course, like I said, I mean, there's even the same kind of like interviews with the cops. It's like, how did you know people need to get off the train? How'd you know not to go into the school shooting? Rada. It's the same thing. Same setup, same everything. And it blows my mind that it has, and everybody who likes it notes the fact that it is just a Final Destination story. Anyways, this has turned into a rant. I didn't mean to rant. But I got upset. It was like, why not just this is well then again then people would be like, oh, did you know that this was a Joe Hill story, and they just revamped it to be the Final Destination, to be like the snake eating its tail. People would just argue about what came first, the chicken, the egg, or the farmer, or the property, or the feed, or whatever. But I don't know. If you want to try and read this for yourself, just know that you're going to know exactly what's going to happen by the end of the book. There's no plot twist. Well, I guess there's supposed to be a plot twist, but if you've seen Final Destination, there's no plot twist. I'm going to say Final Destination one more time just to piss off the people who are tired of me saying Final Destination. Final Destination. But until next time, I have been E, you've been you, this has been Final Destination. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!